Osiris, I sent you an invite to speak. I don't see Whip. If someone tells me which one is Whip, I'll invite you to speak as well.
Indeed. But let's get this kicked off, guys. Welcome everybody. It's the Icon Underground coming to you live tonight. This is the Community Clubhouse. This is, of course, an hour-long forum dedicated to covering the latest developments in the Incognito project. We're going to dive into the heart of this collection, hearing directly from the users behind the icons themselves. As such, I'm pleased to present some of our distinguished guests from among the community tonight, some of which you probably already know. Dynasty, is Dynasty in here yet? I think he'll be here any second. But in the meantime, you've heard the voice of Archer. Archer, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for running shotgun today.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, we got Osiris with us as well, but Osiris, you can accept that invite to speak. We'll give you a minute, and we'll give Dynasty a minute to show up as well. But in the meantime, guys, it's a real pleasure to, of course, be with you tonight. The live chat is in the Discord. So I do have my eye on a live chat window, but that one is right here in the Discord. It's got the title Twitter Spaces Live Chat. So if anybody wants to comment or interact through the live chat, I recommend that you use this room in the Discord. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. Hopefully everything is coming along nicely. All right. I think people are connecting. Excellent. But yeah, the live chat's in the Discord. Check that out, guys. And link, of course, is in the description. If you want to join tonight's Twitter Spaces and you're watching on YouTube right now, check out the description below. We got links there as well as links to the Discord. In the meantime, let's get into it, guys. We're going to have quite a few topics we're going to cover on today's show. You can see the schedule if you're watching along on YouTube. Of course, we're going to go from this intro into the latest news, guys. We are going to cover the happenings, whatever's going on in the space. And believe me, there's some stuff to talk about. Everything from that record eye-watering large sale of the Boardwalk Empire piece to, well, everybody's favorite Soulja Boy. I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I'm going to cover some recent sales, one we already mentioned. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about prices, guys, before we get into a little touch on the roadmap. Finally, going to get to the AMA, the call-in section. That's coming up in a bit. So for anybody who does want to get in here, get a chance to speak, maybe even talk to Dynasty and get your two pieces in. Going to have that chance coming up in just a little bit. But in the meantime, let me just check. How are we doing? All right, everything's looking good.
Osiris is
no worries. I'm sure Osiris.
Occupied.
I'm sure Osiris. Oh yes, Osiris is a little busy. No problem. He might just be listening in. If anybody else, of course, wants to pop in here and say hello before we get into the next segment, you're more than welcome to potentially raise your hand right now, and our co-host will let you in. Dynasty, I'm sure, will be along in a minute. In the meantime, we'll be recapping a few things today, one of which, in fact, let me put it up on the screen now. All right. Some exciting things, of course, happened over the last few days, guys, and we're going to be, of course, doing this stream, this podcast, every night. Well, for at least for the next while. Very excited to get down with you guys every night. Over the next few weeks, got to really build the community hype. This is one of the ways we're going to do it. And of course, we're going to recap all the latest, such as this little story here. This one's, of course, Soulja Boy. Here's the tweet that did it all just a couple of days ago. Soulja Boy, aka Draco. The Incognito NFT project is just too fire. 6K res files, 3D shit, so much more. Fire emoji. Pick these bad boys up. Check out your boy on OpenSea. And indeed, what does he do? He flosses with, let's see here, picked these bad boys up. Well, it almost like implies that he picked up this icon, but I think this one is too rich even for Soulja Boy's blood. This, of course, I think is one of the hottest icons in the whole collection. Obviously, hoodie, gold, it's up there. The combination together, makes this one impeccable. So big shout outs to Soulja Boy. But if you're wondering, of course, what Soulja Boy bought, he did in fact partake. He did get some icons. Here is icon 1498. Soulja Boy official. You see it right here. This is him. At least we presume it's him. So he did take the opportunity, not so much to buy gold, but he did in fact buy this particular one. Let's take a look at the trading history. Yeah, he paid 1.15 Ether for this. Let's have a look. Looks like pretty clean. How many traits is this? Is it just 2 trait Android? Yes, the robotic 2 trait with the mustache. Big shout outs to Soulja Boy. He got himself a clean one. All right, let's see here. Dynasty in the chat, Cyrus. Indeed, we do have a Cyrus with us. Big shout outs to you. Probably just listening. He has other affairs than mine, so let's go cover a couple other things, guys. Dynasty will be here in a few minutes. I have a few more topics I do want to run down over the weekend. What else happened? Yes, this was huge. Here's my tweet from this weekend. Of course, truly remarkable. 42 Ethereum for a 1-of-1 incognito. Shout outs to the user Checknate, I misspelled this earlier, but who put up one mighty big mag to be the winner of tonight's historic NFT auction. I gotta say, guys, I don't know if you were here in the Discord for this auction, but it was flying. It was going crazy. People were going buck. I practically fell on my seat when we crossed, I think, 20 or 25 ETH, because I think the previous all-time high for an icon was, I think, what, 20 ETH for that gold? Correct me if I'm mistaken, guys.
Yeah, it was 20.
20 for
Yep. 20 ETH. Indeed. 20 ETH for that gold. So when we crossed over 20 and then we blew through 25 ETH, there was a serious bidding war. In fact, there was some drama along the way, some friendly shit talking, I'd say, back and forth. But hey, that's what happens when there's a high stakes bidding war. I guess decorum goes out the window. And somehow even I got caught in the crossfire. Somebody thought that I was the one auctioning the Monopoly Man, the Boardwalk Empire. Alas, that was not me. Some last second confusion, guys. And if you were there in the Discord when it was going down, we were streaming it live as well. It was a real blast. So shout out to everybody who kicked it with us that day. All right, what else do we have to recap? Let's see here. I'm going to be posting, if anybody wants, a link to some of the things I just discussed. To check out the Twitter Spaces chat in the Discord for the links. All right, let's keep going. Discord or Dynasty, our boy Dynasty in here yet? No, I think he'll be here shortly.
He's on his way. He's not here quite yet.
Let's see here. Somebody requesting to hop in. Sandro, I'm going to approve him. Sandro, come on in, buddy. Big shout outs to Sandro with the cowboy icon for his profile pic. Let's go. All right, he's good. He's good. All right, let us continue, guys. Got a few more items to discuss. What do we got here? All right, this was another high-profile endorsement of sorts that happened on Twitter over the weekend. This from Keith Crypto Kid Berry. Check out this comment he left. Incognito NFT project is on fire. Fire emoji. Crazy 170K sale last night. Crazy stuff planned for by the team as well. I got to hear some crazy and juicy details from the owner of the project himself. I'm going to be scooping up a couple of these while the floor is still around 0.2 ETH. All right, smart man, this crypto kid. Let's see here. He's got about 27K followers. He's not a nobody. He does have Crypto Kid and a Doge banner in here. He's got the Doge pop up here, so I presume he's not a nobody. It's nice to see we got people, high-profile people, repping the Icon brand. That, of course, is always good. Let's see here. Yes, somebody in the chat over on the Twitter Spaces chat in the Discord, Caesar from Ape House says, we need to blow up this more. If you haven't already, blow it up. Yes, that's right. I dropped the link to the Soulja Boy tweet. That kind of went unnoticed, guys. Blast that. Should be blasting that in perpetuity for the next 2 to 3 weeks until a slightly higher profile hip-hop artist picks us up. All right, guys, that's the game plan. Let's keep it rolling. I think Dynasty is still coming along. Just want to make sure I acknowledge the man when he enters the room. Let's keep rolling, guys. Hopefully the stream is going smoothly for everybody. Be sure to shout me out in the Twitter Spaces text chat. All right, what else do we have? Yes, here is the link. I dropped this earlier to the Monopoly man himself. I have dubbed him Boardwalk Empire. I think it's a fitting name for this really gangster-looking one-of-one top 10 rarity icon in the collection. Here's a notable sale today. How much did this sell for? Not bad for a 0.39 sale, guys. Check this one out. This, of course, is what, a 5 trait? Let me go take a look here. Yes, indeed, a 5 trait for sale today. 0.39, a decent sale. We also had this Spaceman sell today for, let me just double check. Yeah, it was 1 ETH. A 1 ETH offer accepted on this Spaceman, guys. A solid, let me just double check. Is this a 4 trait Spaceman, silver hoop earring hidden behind the helmet with the Ethereum eyes? This is a sharp looking one that, of course, rolled across the auction block today. All right. How are we doing on the Dynasty setup? You still coming along? Looking good, guys. We got a couple more items to cover on today's show. Let's see here. Do we have anywhere guests want to sound off right now? You guys seen any good sales come across the floor? I heard somebody sniped a bronze for wicked cheap over the weekend. Somebody made a joke saying he sniped a gold for cheap over the weekend. That never happened, but the bronze sale allegedly did. Cyrus, you with us, buddy? And Sandro.
Someone sniped a bronze for 0.3, which was ridiculously smooth.
That's the one, then.
I could not move ETH fast enough.
Yep, you always got to be on the trigger, ready to pull, right?
So I saw Osiris was in the... Sorry. I saw Dynasty was in the chat coming on, and as soon as I see his icon, which definitely stands out, I will invite him to speak.
Yep, no rush, guys. The AMA portion, where I'm sure we'll hear some of Dynasty's thoughts, doesn't come up for a couple minutes, guys. I just want to cover a couple more items. I'm going to get right ahead into the next segment. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I want to discuss price, the floor, the market conditions. This is something at the top of everyone's mind. Can't really have a community rally if you don't talk about the hottest topic in the room. Of course, price and what's going on with the market. I know the question about the floor is pretty much a meme in the community at this point. And I understand how everyone's feeling. So let's discuss the prices in the market right now, because, like I said, this is a real point of discomfort for many holders in the community. And I just want to thank and obviously commend everybody who's still holding out right now, who understands that, this is still the first few weeks of a major product launch, right? And, and everyone in this community right now who's listening in is basically an OG as far as I'm concerned. Like you guys, before the big crowd shows up, and before the big celebrity endorsement shilling, has you pump and then dump, I'm proud to say, we've had a lot of organic growth. And everybody here, like I said, is considered a total OG. And, we deserve to be building out the collection from the ground floor here, right? It would suck if a whole bunch of other people, cut in line into this project, into your collection. I think there's a silver lining, I think, to this whole, the way the rollout has been over the last few weeks. It's been a nice, slow, perfectly organic growth. It's given everybody, I think, a great opportunity to build out their collections before you get priced out of building out these collections. So silver lining, I guess, is what I'm going with. My main takeaway for price tonight, guys. And then, something to think about here is, volumes and prices have been down a lot across the whole NFT board right now. We can speculate as to why, and I can give you my thoughts on this. I think part of this is because the network fees went bonkers last week. And the high fees have been dragging out for a while. They're keeping many of the retail normie people away. You know, like it's probably tough to pick up a floor model as it is at 0.2 or 0.3. Then you got to throw another $200 in gas at it. That's probably driving some people away. All right, guys, that's something to consider. And you know, we've had a major bullish move in the price of ETH and now Bitcoin. Like the whole market is moving up. And let me explain something. Like people move Ethereum into leverage long positions on exchanges in order to catch, you know, big moves. You know, which in this case, Ethereum's appreciated, I don't know, 20-25% in a number of days. People might want to be holding Ethereum, leveraged Ethereum to the upside during this move. And once I think this move completes, you know, I think the investors are going to be flush with fresh gains coming off this move up. And I think that's when we're going to begin to see the Ethereum flow right back into speculative plays, you know, like NFTs, let's be honest, guys, right? So people right now, I think the money is, and for a few different reasons I've already explained, is currently gambling, I guess, on the move on Ethereum up, not so much on NFTs, which of course have had a huge boom, right? So it seems in a way that, you know, we are kind of in a corrective moment across many NFTs. You know, but this doesn't mean that the bull market's over, guys. The NFT phenomenon is barely beginning to take hold in popular culture. We can capture like a big part of this whole next boom, right? This NFT profile picture movement. Because we have something that's very clean, mature, that's they just don't see in the other NFTs in the space. So I think we're perfectly positioned, guys, you know, to take this next move up when it comes. And I think this move will come sooner than you think. But I think we all have to acknowledge that currently the market's kind of in a corrective holding pattern. And I encourage everybody not to panic. I see Dynasty has joined us, or at least requesting to do so. So Dynasty,
he's been approved. It just says connecting. It's just spinning.
Gotcha.
So he's here. He's with us, and he's trying to talk, but we can't hear him. It's just,
oh man, this would be so much easier on Discord, guys. But we are making an effort to broadcast to Twitter. We have to, of course, invade new spaces. And we do that by broadcasting to Twitter. I know Discord's easy. We already have a very, very solid community in the Discord. But by doing this Twitter thing, by subjecting ourselves to this Twitter spaces, we are going to broaden our horizons. All right, I think Dynasty's reconnecting. I just saw him drop out, so he might be trying to do a reconnect, guys. I'm just going to cover a couple small things, and let's keep it rolling. So where was I? I was talking about price, right? So I'm quite frankly actually glad that we didn't have a boom and bust on an icon like we've seen other projects. I saw that whole what is that thing called? That one force thing. You know, that thing is pulled back super hard from its top, right? So in some ways, you know, you might have regretted, you know, not being in a few other tokens, but at the same time, you might not regret as they all come kind of coming down right now in their price. So I don't know, maybe I don't speak for all the whales, but I mean, personally, I'm holding my icon gems for years. Until my collection commands like a multi-million-dollar price, like I don't know how to say this. I'm going to, myself, and I think a few of the whales, we're going to form a very high price ceiling someday soon. And I think this is because our community is sophisticated. We have people, especially here among the whales, they see the outlook. They see the big outlook for Icon, and they see how ambitious it is. And I guess the trick is not to dump, guys, not to sell. And if anything, panic selling along the floor, not the wise move. Just, you know, if you still want to panic sell, let's just collectively agree to lift the floor just a little bit before you list super low. That's one way to go about it, guys. I can tell you the whales are holding it down, and I just hope that the rank and file does too, guys. I'm really counting on you.
You guys hear me now?
Right.
Yeah, I think you can.
Yes,
Finally.
that's Dynasty.
How are you?
Wonderful. Dynasty, the man. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Wonderful.
I'm glad you're here.
This Twitter Spaces was giving me troubles.
So you were talking about the floor, right?
Just talking about the floor, and yes, indeed, the prices, and kind of why there is, not just in icons, but across NFTs, there's a bit of a pullback in volume, prices, obviously.
It's a big.
And I, for one, am glad. Go ahead.
It's a big pullback, mainly on the lesser known collections. I'd say. I mean, collections like CryptoPunks, Neatbeats, VFriends, Bored Apes, those type of collections. It's hard for them to pull back because of how big their community is and the money invested in them. But right now, all the smaller collections are seeing how if they don't actually get value into their collection and build a community, they'll be gone for good in a couple months for sure.
Indeed, guys, that's what separates us from a lot of the other projects. And I guess that's kind of what my point of my whole spiel here was. We're trying to do something unique here, and there's going to be a big culling in the NFT space. Not all of these rinky-dink projects are going to make it, but rather something more fully fleshed out that I'm sure many of you know. That's why you're all here. But let's go ahead. I'm going to cover one more topic, and then we're going to get into the AMA portion. We'll answer some questions that are coming in via the Discord live text chat. Check that out, guys. In the future, we will probably incorporate the live chat coming from YouTube, but for the time being, I'm not really watching the YouTube chat. So if you do want to drop a comment in or get on the horn, you check out that text chat, or in the next few minutes, request to come on the stage when we get into the AMA portion. But in the meantime, I do want to get into one other thing. That's going to be the roadmap, guys. What is coming up ahead? And of course, we're going to be talking about this every night. I do hope everybody tunes in and joins us every evening for the next while. But tonight, we're talking about the roadmap, of course. And I'm glad I have Destiny to tell us more. But here's what I know in terms of what to expect this coming week. I know the rotating animations we need to make the icons really come to life are getting tested and kind of rolled out right now.
There should be a few right now. I'm gonna post a link to on Discord. All the gold ones. I'm manually refreshing on the metadata on OpenSea, so you guys can see the new format, the new resolution, and all the new gold Incognitos doing the 360 animation.
You're absolutely right. In fact, I have it on the screen right now, guys, and I will drop the link. If you do want to check this out, I'm going to drop the link to the Twitter Spaces live chat. Excuse how long that block of link is, but if anybody watching the stream right now, indeed, you see the gold animations right now spinning on several.
Not all of them are updated, but it just takes a little bit of time for OpenSea to update the metadata.
But yeah, like I was saying, this is a major part. I think at least the imminent part of the roadmap. We're testing them right now, guys. The Lego and some of these other icons, as you can see before you, are rotating in the OpenSea marketplace. This really makes them come to life, guys. I know we have been, trying to debate between the GIF format and which auto plays, and the more high resolution, the crisper animation. Personally, I lean toward the crisper animation. I don't know what you guys think, but I do know that this is a next big step, is seeing the animations roll out, and then the very exciting marketing campaign that comes after. At Dynasty, what can you tell us?
About the marketing campaign we have planned?
Oh, just the staged rollout of the how do we plan to see the animations come out and such?
The animations are gonna roll out in stages. We're gonna go from top to bottom in terms of rarity of bases. So we're doing the gold bases first, then the bronze, robotic, then glass. I'm missing one, I think, right? Yeah, no, glass, concrete, light marble, white, and black plastic. We're gonna leave the black and the white plastic last because they're almost 7,000 if I'm not mistaken. So that's gonna take them the vast majority of the time and rendering power, processes, and all that. We should have all the bronze done by tomorrow and updated on OpenSea. And we should have the bronze, the robotic, and maybe the glass ones in the next 1 to maybe 3 days. We are planning to have all of them ready by the end of the week, and it might be delayed a couple days simply because we're doing this other format, which is rendering everything and doing the animations as if they were a video instead of just a GIF. And what this does is it takes a little bit more time because every single animation has to be rendered with a background as well. And we are redoing the process since we were going to do just the GIF files. The problem with the GIF files is that they're too large, and OpenSea only gives you a file limit size of 40 megabytes. So that's the reason we're going with a video format, let's say, mainly because this entire collection, this entire project has been built in terms of quality, with the quality in mind. That's one of the main things we focused on, and even mentioned it in our roadmaps when we talked about the collection. And we are making sure that the word quality is literally present in every single aspect of this project. And if we have to sacrifice all of them just going around animated from the, let's say, homepage, then we will. Instead, we just have this play and pause button at the bottom, and regardless, I think it looks very, very nice. And I mean, just a resolution and for you to see the details in these videos is much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know there's some trade-offs to be made, but I think the 3D file video animation is far superior. It looks way less pixelated, and has the GIF has a real anti-aliasing problems. Makes it look not so good. So while the GIF is good in some ways, guys, the more refined, I think, animation, I'm really looking forward to going live across the library, guys. And I'm telling you, once the entire library, or closer to more of the library, gets the animations, I think the real marketing offensive will begin around then. That's the impression I got, at least. All right, let me have a look here, guys. I am going to read a comment or two from the live chat, but we're going to get into, we're going to get into all the AMA portion, guys. How are we doing on time? We're about 30 minutes into the show. I've planned about a 60-minute show total. I think we're doing really great. Like I said, I do continue to come back, I think, day after day to do this. It's really exciting. I'm glad we have a lot of people with us. I think on other nights, I would like to, of course, highlight new members. So if you're new to the audience, you're new to the community, I should really say, you just recently picked up your first icon. I think most nights I would certainly love to have you guys on as well. So just shouting out all the new icon holders in the house. If you can raise your hand, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow or the night after. I do intend to have a portion of the show dedicated to having you people come in and tell us in your own words, like, what attracted them to the collection, especially as new guys, right? The new people have a different kind of appreciation than, than just people who got influenced to come here based on something else, right? So it's really cool to have people come in, especially in these early days, just as we're launching this stream, this podcast, to hear, of course, from you guys. But in the meantime, we are going to get into the AMA portion. If you, of course, can't join the voice, just drop your question in the Twitter Spaces channel, the text channel in the Discord. All right. Let's get into it. Shoutouts to Archer, of course, holding it down as co-pilot. I see requests.
There's a question.
Oh, yep.
There's a question that says, once retail people get their hands on Icon and NFTs in general, it'll be interesting to see the floor price because they get quite desperate to sell at lower prices and see it as a one-day get-rich strategy. So, more of a statement than a question. I think it's important to realize, yes, there are people that come in and try and flip any project. This project is really designed all about quality, and the roadmap that Dynasty and his team have put together really sets out not just short term what they're doing this month, it's been 3 weeks, but this month, the next couple months. And the focus is all on quality and the art that exists and building the community around those things. And so it's really important to realize, yes, in any project, there are going to be people that come in, whether it's a penguin or a flamingo or a unicorn or whatever it is, they're going to come in, they're going to throw some money at it, and they're just going to speculate. And that's fine. That's part of how a free market works. But people that really believe in the project are going to be the people that bring value to it, and those are the people that will be that will benefit the most. So if people want to flip things, they can, but talk to the people that 4 months ago, 3 months ago, bought a Bored Ape and flipped it for 0.5 ETH. See how they feel about that decision right now.
Indeed.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead,
so I
please.
just had a quick question and comment, kind of. So I first noticed about this project that it's really fine art, and it's more of a high quality caliber than any NFT I've seen, which stood out to me a lot. And have you guys thought of kind of connecting icons with other larger fine art spaces? I saw we're kind of getting there with the Alec Monopoly. Have you guys thought of like anything else for the fine art community?
I think I can answer that. Yes, we are, and especially like you said, the fine arts, let's say, space and world. We don't want to be just a simple NFT collections. We want to actually integrate the real physical art world with the digital art world. For example, one of the things we have planned for the future, and for, let's say, for example, our bronze base attribute, which is, we only have, I think, like 93 of them. And we are working to do a sculpture with a very famous sculptor. And he has a couple 100,000 followers on his social platforms, let's say. And for example, one of the things we want to do with him is do a sculpture, a solid bronze sculpture, and give it away to one of our bronze base holders, let's say. And apart from that, we're looking into doing like a gallery type of meetup where we do a meetup in a real art gallery, integrate the VR aspects of the things we are going to add to the collection as well, because later on, what we're going to do after the animations is we're focusing on the 3D printing files, and we're focusing on augmented reality and virtual reality, both of them, where you can use your phone and you can see the icon, let's say, spinning around in your living room or wherever you are. At the same time, we could add like filters, like Snapchat filters or like Instagram filters, all those kinds of little things. We are also going to do that. But yes, to answer your question, we want to integrate real world art, physical art, with our collection, with digital NFTs, and let's say create a bridge between those worlds, those different types of art worlds.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. I can't wait for the future. And one thing about icons is that they're so versatile too when it comes to how they can be represented in art. It could be sculptures, paintings, on a TV. It could be in a video game, a filter. It's amazing. I mean, there's just so many possibilities.
Yes, for sure. I mean, and that's one of the things with icons. There's so much things we could do with it. And I mentioned it before because we've had a couple people ask about gaming and stuff like that. Gaming is not our priority right now, and I think we gotta make sure we focus on where we want to take icons and exactly what we want to do with it. And we're more into like the artistic world, the merch world, and those kind of things that are gonna add more value down the line. We want to make this a brand. We don't want to make this just another NFT collection.
Dynasty, do you mind? You had a really good post that you did yesterday that talked about value. I mean, part of it was when people make a lot of comments, and I think everyone needs to keep in mind that everyone has an opinion on Discord or Twitter or wherever we happen to be interacting. And it's important to follow the leaders of the project and the other people that are helping the leaders, because that's the people, that's your group of people that has the information about what's really going on. And so you can have a lot of different people that their opinions are valid, but it doesn't mean that they're correct. And did you want to touch on at all your comments about all the things that you've done in terms of adding value to the project? Because I think different people, you can sit in and one person will say something, the other person says something completely different. I think there's a lot that you all have done where a lot of other projects, they meant and then they're gone.
For sure.
And you all have done the exact opposite.
I mean, one of the things we did to start with, let's say, is we tried, and in everything we do, and we've been doing, we've tried to do things differently. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're the only successful NFT collection that has given away a CryptoPunk, for example. The other collection I can think of is Apimon, and one of the devs ended up just stealing the money and running away, and the entire collection just crashed. And now they're trying to pick it up. They're doing an amazing job with their artwork, and we'll see how that collection goes. But just from the incentive and let's say rewards, and we gave away over $350,000 on a CryptoPunk, on an Alec Monopoly painting that we're gonna ship out this week, on 5 different unique looking Lego sculptures that we did with Nathan, that we're doing because it's still in progress. He's completed 2 of them out of the 5. And Nathan Sawaya, for those who don't know, he's literally the world's most famous Lego sculptor. And he's the one, not the only one, but he's the one who does all these like amazing Lego sculptures all around the world, and the most famous ones are mainly done by him. And so one of the coolest things we thought of was making an Incognito made out of Legos, totally out of Legos, and for him to create a sculpture with his style that represented the Incognito. And then apart from just the value, one of the ways this is just like a little insight in terms of into the collection. The structure we decided to go with is a very CryptoPunk type of style where you know what's rare, you know what's common. We don't have 300 attributes. We don't have 100 different things that look totally different, and you're not even sure what's rare and what's not rare. And I won't mention other collection names, but because I've always been in the NFT world in terms of like flipping, like just like many of us have done before. But for example, I remember there was a collection that I was just waiting on upon like reveal and trying to snipe a couple good NFTs that I thought they were gonna be very rare, and I sniped I ended up buying like 8 for quite a bit, and I thought they were very rare because they look very different and they look very rare, but then when we saw the attributes and everything was rare. So whatever you bought was not too rare, and then we went with that structure to actually create value for people to know. For example, the Alec Monopoly reference. It's not an Alec Monopoly. We call it Mr. Monopoly, because it's not an Alec Monopoly Incognito. It's a reference to the Alec Monopoly painting. But let's say Mr. Monopoly yesterday sold, or it was not yesterday. Was it yesterday? Saturday, if I'm mistaken. 2 days ago, it sold for $170,000. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. There's very few collections that have sold an NFT for this much that aren't in your top 15 or 20 NFT collections right now on OpenSea. So that's where we wanted to create value in terms of what you own, you can know what the price is, and every single attribute is gonna have its own floor price. That's why I always disregard floor price in terms of people asking for support. Why is it's like for us to pump the floor price and stuff like that? This is not your typical NFT collections like we have seen so many of. And then in terms of value and things we've also done, I mean, just to the utility you have with these NFTs. First of all, we spent over 3 months, just working on the NFTs, working on the details, working on every single attribute. And you guys just see the final result. But we had and we designed over 10, 15 other attributes, different bases. We went through so many variations, so many combinations, and it was quite. It took us quite a bit. We worked on the entire product at least 12 hours a day for literally almost 90 days, and it was pretty cool. I mean, the final results, you guys can see the final results are 6K resolution images and files that all holders are have them available through our website. They look amazing. I mean, you can see every single little texture of the leather attributes. Our beanie, you can even see the little hairs and stuff. I mean, just the quality of the NFTs. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure we are the most high resolution and most detailed collection in terms of NFTs for any other collection of this size, and I'm pretty sure of it. And then after let's say the details, we were like, this is just not enough. We had to even strive for even more, and that's where we went with the 3D files. Once we're done adding all that utility, every single holder will have access to their 6K resolution images, and then you can choose others from other resolution images. You can choose from 6K, from 2K, I think is 1K, and then you can change the background color and everything directly on our website. And then apart from that, you're going to have access to the 3D file itself, like the raw 3D file that you can use to do a bunch of other things in the future. You have access to the 3D printing file that you can do it yourself. You can do the 3D printing yourself, or you can have someone else do the 3D printing for you. And then you are going to have access to AR features where on our website you're going to be able to interact with every incognito, and you're going to spin it around on 360, let's say, axle, and pretty much have all the interaction you want with there. We are adding, let's say, functions and features for you to do, and have like virtual reality features, and just so many other things that we want to make sure everybody has access to those things when you own an incognito. And I mean, the only other collection, if I'm not mistaken, that does this in the entire world is Meebits. And we are incognito. We're 3 months old, not even 3 weeks old, and we're literally trying to add more utility than what Meebits does, which Meebits is Larva Labs, and Larva Labs is a $200-300 million company easily. So that's where we want to give value. And apart from that, I mean, there was a question on Discord and saying like, what was my inspiration and why did we create these NFTs? And the real reason was it's very very simple. I saw the potential. I saw the market. I saw how people were getting hyped by things I consider ugly. My other people might not consider ugly. Or there's many things I consider just simple, or just work that was not really done professionally, or it was done fast for a quick buck. And then I was like, there's so much stuff you can do, and there's so much cool artwork in the digital world. And we have what we call the NFTs. With this technology, you can actually give them even more value. So I was inspired by a few artists and that did like similar, like very cool and artistic stuff, like figures. They weren't faces, but they were like face figures. And and then I took a few screenshots and stuff. I got in touch with our artist. His name is Nuxer, and Nuxer and I pretty much work on a few prototypes and came up with what you guys can see in terms of Incognito. And it was mainly just selling something to you guys that was actually worth the money. I mean, secondary sales, you guys control that. We don't control that. But if I was gonna sell an NFT that you guys were gonna mint for almost $300, I was gonna make sure that what you were actually buying is worth $300, if not more. If you go to any a digital artist right now and you tell them, I want a Incognito type of 3D like image, and then I want every single utility that we provide in terms of that artist has to animate it, has to have 6K resolution, has to have 3D printing files. Then you can ask for everything else in terms of virtual reality, augmented reality. Any artist out there is gonna tell you that for them to do a single one is gonna cost you at least a couple $1,000. So for us to actually sell it at this price is cheap. That's how I see it. But that's how I wanted to get how I wanted you guys to feel like it might go to zero tomorrow in terms of secondary sales. But if you minted one, if you actually bought one and you like what you have, I want you guys to appreciate the value in the artistic value. I mean, 100% of the collections nowadays, the value in them is literally just the hype that they can build. It's not the artistic quality. It's not the team that surrounds it. It's not a roadmap. It's nothing. It's pretty much literally just hype. Anybody that just hires an influencer for 200K, for 100K, for 50K to help them promote their NFTs in terms of like the minting process, and they sell out and everything, that's not real value. That's all that there is hype value. And of course, it's very important, especially in the industry we are right now. But is hype gonna last 3 years? It won't. It's gonna last a couple weeks. Is hype gonna give you real value to something? I mean, it adds value because of the demand can go up. But is that demand gonna grow steadily? It won't. So that's where we focus on in terms of adding real value. And of course, we are doing, and we will keep doing marketing, working with all influencers in the space, trying to bring more exposure, because it's not just trying to pump the price or anything like that. Our main goal when we work with other individuals and stuff like that is just to gain exposure, gain more eyeballs, let people know what Incognito is. And if I could do one thing, and I could ask something for someone to do something, I would just ask them to read our roadmap and to spend 5 minutes reading it, and I'm pretty certain that you'll say like, damn, there's not a single NFT collection as complete as Incognito's. So that's where we want to add value, pretty much.
All right. Well, that was a pretty deep dive into that question from Dynasty. Thank you so much for that. Listen, Yes. Hold on. Let me.
You gotta cut me off.
Yes, I will. No, I think you did fine here, but we are, of course, going to get into a few others, guys. I did see a few people requesting to get in here, so please do request, do come on, do ask your question. In the meantime, I'm going to read a question from the live chat. Let's go see who's in here. This next one, indeed. Now, this is something I can help answer. Let me just scroll up and find it. It comes from Akrang Gerard. Akent. Okay, weird name. Let's keep it rolling. He says, AMA question. Once retail normie people get their hands on Icon and NFTs in general, it'll be interesting to see the floor price, because they get quite desperate to sell at lower prices and see it as a one-day get-rich-quick strategy. Indeed, there are a lot of people out there who they see this as a quick flip, but that's okay because if they just want to transport value forward 24 hours, many of us here can live with that. There is a simple fact that yes, even people in the early days of say Bitcoin, plenty of them bought it low in the very, very early days, and they thought that they made a acceptable amount of money, and they sold. They might have sold at $100 a Bitcoin, 500 or $1,000 a Bitcoin in like 2016 when it first broke through that barrier. Looking back at it, they might regret it, and it might be the same thing with icons, guys. It's not a problem if someone gets in here and is going to inevitably sell, because in the end, we're going to filter in more mature market participants, the right market participants, people who want to, own an icon and sport an icon in their profile picture and be part of the family for the long term. The people who really see the long-term value and want to enjoy the long-term value we're building here are not just going to indulge in a one-day get-rich-quick scheme, guys. And, again, I don't know if I speak for everybody, but me personally, I'm going to take this project forward much, much further. I don't mind if people sell along the way. I think a lot of them will be disappointed how high the ceiling is going to go. With that said, anybody want to add?
I'm gonna add a little quick thing in there. I'm a flipper myself. That's how I started in NFTs. I mean, I have literally dozens of friends who have called me just for me to sell them ETH, or for me to tell them exactly what they had to look into an NFT project to make a quick buck. That's totally normal. I mean, the NFT world, there's way too much money right now in the NFT space, and way too many opportunities for a bunch of you guys to make literally thousands and thousands of money. I have a friend who's made over $500,000 in the last couple months that he didn't even think about making that amount of money, but he invested his money smartly in NFTs, and he got paid quite handsomely. One of the problems right now with the NFT world and with the NFT culture in general is that there's not too many collections that you can actually hold, or that not that you can hold, because you can hold whatever you want, but there's very few collections that give you the security and give you the let's say the confidence of saying, okay, I'm going to invest on this for the next couple of weeks. People are literally just buying, they're selling, and looking for the next opportunity to make a few $100 or a few $1,000, and that's totally fine. What we are trying to build is a big community that actually believes in incognitos and pretty much build this base and show you guys the long-term potential of our project. And I think we're doing a great job on this, because I know that our community just keeps growing. Our loyal holders keep growing as well, and it's just gonna keep growing, especially with what we have planned in the future.
Right, loyalty.
So there's a
Yes.
question.
Sorry, I was going to allow one of the speakers to, and then we'll get into a text question. Noob Dog, I think you're here. You got access. You want to unmute yourself, Noob Dog, and tell us what your question is? Noob Dog, one of the successful participants who was able to have his request approved. But Noob Dog, you got to unmute and ask your question. If not, we'll give you another minute. And Archer, you got a question to read?
Yeah, there was a question, Dynasty, about future plans. There was a question about people playing games and being able to use incognitos, and how that may factor in, if you had any plans about that. I know that you have plans and you may want to talk about them. Generally, you can use whatever specificity you want, but guys, understand that if he doesn't answer with a ton of depth, it's because there are things that are going to be revealed that are exciting, and that's part of the process.
I mean, in terms of games, I think I mentioned it earlier, and I think we've mentioned it in a couple AMAs, is games are not really our focus right now. We were contacted, for example, by the Kongs team, because they're doing like the basketball 3 versus 3 thing with like the gorillas and playing basketball, whatever. I don't see exactly how Incognitos actually benefits from being in a game that's pretty much made for gorillas, for example. So that's where we want to make sure that it makes sense, especially when in terms of marketing, everything we do, it has to make sense. It has to go with our brand. It has to go with what we are building, because then later in the future is gonna be, we're gonna be probably in 10 different random games, and people are gonna be like, what exactly is Incognitos, and what exactly is the vision for this? We're not trying to just do any random thing, any random let's say marketing plan or marketing strategy. We know where we want to be in the future, and that's what we're going to work for pretty much. We're more into the merch, like the brand, that creating that icon brand, and as well as the storytelling. There's going to be quite a few things in terms of storytelling that we will be mentioning, we'll be posting very soon.
There was a question that asked Dynasty what you thought your biggest success on the project was last week, possibly something we may not be aware of that you're working on in the background. It's kind of like the question in another AMA. It was like, what do you think is the most unique rarity that people are not talking about? And then people are like listening for you to get clues and then rush to the market to buy something really fast. But I know that there were some long phone calls that you had, that you're working on a lot of things behind the scenes that are more than just eye-popping sales. Is there anything that you wanted to share?
Let's see. We do have a pretty important meeting and call tomorrow, pretty early tomorrow. That's gonna give us a pretty good idea for pretty much our biggest plan yet, which I've said it multiple times. It's gonna be something very, very cool that everybody, not even the entire NFT community. I mean, the entire NFT community will probably hear about it, but we're trying to try and get more global exposure and something much bigger, something no other NFT collection has ever done. Let's just keep it at that for now. And I think what was the other part of the question? In terms of trades and stuff like that, I think you mentioned in terms of like things we have planned for different trades. Like I said before, we're doing stuff with the Incognito trades, let's say for the icon chain, the icon eyes, the icon hat, and then the hoodie. And every single thing we're doing for those attributes, they're going to be very special. And most of them are going to be first timers in terms of being their first collection to do those things with different things. I mean, yes, we're going to be the first NFT collection to do and to integrate, let's say, our merch with our, let's say, metaverse plans, let's say. So yeah, we have things planned for other attributes as well, but I don't really like mentioning it because people are just trying to make more money or to just flip and stuff like that. So I'll keep you guys guessing for now.
All right. Noob Dog, are you able to speak yet? Make sure you unmute. See if we can get Noob Dog to ask a question. Anybody else want to get on here and ask their question? We are kind of winding the show down for tonight. So if you want to get in with your question, put your request in now. Of course, if you're listening on Twitter, just so you know, you can only request to speak on mobile. So you got to be on iOS or Android. If you're listening in on PC, it's listen only for these Twitter spaces. Got to get the mobile out. Noob Dog still muted. All right.
So there's a question.
Give me a sec. I'm sure.
There's one.
For those of you guys here, I'll probably announce in a little bit on Discord. But tomorrow we'll be announcing the last stage of this week's Holders Giveback, which is gonna be a $25,000 event that we'll probably do. We'll separate it. That you guys will. I won't even mention it. You guys have to go on our Discord, and we'll post all the information there. So if you're not in the Discord, that's a reason you should be.
Hey, Dynasty, you did mention you're going to give away glass tonight. Is that true? You're going to give away glass to maybe somebody here tonight?
Of course. What we can do is we can just do like I always like doing, a random number, and then we just count and see who gets it. I think that's the easiest way.
Let's see here. I was thinking maybe alternatively. Let me know what you guys think about this. How about, since we are broadcasting to YouTube, this will be a replay that hopefully a lot of people watch.
But they can comment.
How about anybody who leaves a comment on the YouTube video over the next 24 hours, and then we'll announce a giveaway. We'll announce who gets the glass. We'll pick somebody from the comments on the YouTube post and
I like the idea.
All right, perfect, guys. So you know what to do. Drop some comment in the chat. Tell us that you want to enter for the big glass giveaway. I'll put some more details in, I guess, the Discord server in a little bit. That solves the glass matter. Let's see here. Do we have another question? I see somebody asking to get in. I just approved them. Crypto Glenn. Are you with us, Crypto Glenn? Unmute and let's hear you.
I am. I'm here. How's everybody doing this evening?
Oh, good.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I just want to start by saying that I really love what you guys did with the Incognito project. This was one that I had been watching for a very long time. The artwork immediately right off the bat jumped off to me as something that's, that was very, very different and really even inspired me to venture more into the world of NFTs and try to take a role as to more than just being a buyer, but really trying to take an appreciation for what the devs have to go through to kind of get something like this off the ground. I don't know if anybody here has tried, but it is very technical. It's not exactly easy. So I don't know if you guys have a lot of the dev team on, but I just want to tip my hat to them and say, hey guys, job well done. I know these things aren't easy to do. My question is to ask if there's anyone that's interested in learning the technical side of actually getting a project like this off the ground, maybe even to, when this thing is all said and done, and say, hey, I launched my own project. What would be some resources that you guys might even suggest? Because there is a lot of gatekeeping when you do try to talk to some devs. But outside of that, a lot of the learning resource materials that are online are more so geared towards doing a standard collection from an ERC 721 standpoint, but the how-tos, they haven't really quite caught up to where we're at right now in the NFT space. So as far as like learning materials, what would you guys recommend?
I mean, the best, just I can tell you from experience in terms of how I started, because I used to manage a collection on OpenSea. And the artist pretty much just uploaded the image on OpenSea, and we're talking about, this was 7 months ago, right? Give or take. So maybe not that far. Probably like 6 months ago. So it was like the beginning of like the big boom of NFTs. This was before Bored Apes. This was before, CryptoPunks. Floor in CryptoPunks was probably like 25,000, something like that. So you can imagine how long it. So this wasn't. This was quite a few months ago, but it was pretty simple. But right now, where we are at in the NFT, let's say, space, you won't really be too successful. It all depends on the structure of the NFT collection that you're trying to build. For some people, it can be as simple as just uploading it to OpenSea. But then that reduces the real value from NFTs, because those images are just stored on OpenSea server. So it's like you don't really have an ERC 721 token that's actually, let's say, out there in the Ethereum network. And in terms of you doing your own collection for other creators and people who want to get out there, the best thing I I did, and I think that the thing that helped me the most was literally just try and get in contact with as many collection owners as possible, just to try and do as much research, as much YouTube videos, as dumb as it might sound, but it helps because it helps you understand, let's say, the structure behind the entire collection. And for example, in this collection, I knew that the first step was trying to build a dev team to actually build the ERC's 721 tokens and smart contract. The smart contract is actually not too difficult unless you want to complicate things. But the best advice that I was given, and his name is Doob. He's the creator. He's the lead dev for Wicked Craniums, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And he just told me one thing: keep the smart contract simple. When you keep the smart contract simple, the gas price is lower. You're 100% of the time you're gonna have a smoother minting process, and you don't have to complicate things too much. When you complicate it, that's when things start becoming, let's say, that's what happens, for example, to so many recent collections. I mean, just the Immortals collection had a problem with that. I think there's another collection that had a problem with their smart contract, where they had like a security loophole or whatever, and they had to literally just create another smart contract and just airdrop the NFTs to the old owners, let's say, and they had to airdrop new NFTs. For example, the Immortals collection, they claim they're spending $450,000 just airdropping new NFTs because they pretty much screw up with a smart contract. So make it simple. You have to create something simple, something straightforward, something's gonna work. You don't have to get all fancy. All the code that's out there in terms of, if you hire a dev team, they can look at every single smart contract of all the top collections out there. So there's nothing like secret. There's nothing that somebody with programming experience, and they can just look at the smart contract and see exactly what happened, how they did it. And then as advice, I've always told people to just try and build their socials, try and build the community, give yourself enough time, and then also give people an incentive to actually buy. For example, our incentive, apart from buying really cool NFTs and just making sure that we had a very nice structure in terms, we had started our Instagram postings and even on Twitter, even before we had like 200 followers. So why? Because we wanted you guys to actually, you could be follower number 300, but you're gonna see content and you're gonna see how professional we wanted to be with this project from the get-go. I mean, that's literally the main thing many projects are missing, is that professional little, how can I say it?
Almost like the business acumen side of it.
Yeah, and that professional aspect of things in terms of creating creating a Discord that looks professional, just not having like immature staff members, trying to structure even something as simple as structuring the messages on a Discord announcement correctly, and for you guys to see real structure and for it to make sense. So, I mean, I don't want to make this too long, but yeah, I mean,
no, it's definitely I think the advice that you're giving here is valuable.
For sure. Like and one thing we want to do, and that people have asked me to do quite often, is for me to do like some sort of like tutorial, or for me to like to actually speak in terms of things that, or just to make maybe like a YouTube series or something like that, where you guys can see exactly the process of building an NFT collection. Because just building an NFT collection just to build it is not going to work. There's so many things behind the scenes that you have to do to actually, if you want to do it correctly. Because I mean, there's so many collections out there who are literally just trying to make $1 million or $2 million, and that's it. That they literally spend less than a week doing art. They try to hype it as much as possible. They sell out, and then nothing happens after a week. So if you actually want to do it correctly, that's the real reason why we're probably gonna release something in terms of like a tutorial or something where we can actually explain to people what it takes to actually succeed and run a successful NFT collection.
Yeah, no, I love that. And just kind of approaching it from my own standpoint, just where I'm looking at it now, there's some ideas that I have, and obviously I kind of want to play them close to the chest just because I think they can be significantly different in terms of utility and value versus some projects that are launching now. And I would definitely want my community to be able to get a significant benefit from that. I just know a lot of that is predicated based upon having that infrastructure set up properly so that when it does come time to launch, that the smart contract is going to do exactly what it needs to do and perform how it does. And I understand there's a lot of the smart contracts out there that are out there, and there's a framework that exists. I guess I'm looking at this from the standpoint of wondering where exactly does the smart contract communicate with like the actual images to have those recalled and displayed to users after being distributed to users. And I know a certain part of that is through IPFS, but I'm just trying to make sure I have all of the necessary working pieces before launching. I know a part of that is actually getting into a testnet environment and deploying and seeing if it functions correctly or not. It's just a matter of just wanting to get it right.
For sure. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Those like the pre-sale days, those 3 days where we were pre-set, it was Thursdays, Friday, and Saturday, and those days we were the whole entire team was so nervous simply because we wanted to get it right, and simply because, for example, I personally had invested way over $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 into this collection way before we made a single cent. Simply because I knew that if things went smoothly, we were gonna sell out. I did not expect us selling out in 6 minutes, in under 6 minutes, like we did. But I believed on what we were doing. I believe in that moment that the structure we had built and the way we had built everything, there was no way we would sell out. But of course, there's always that, let's say, you get nervous simply because you simply don't know what might happen. But that's where we're making it simple, making it straightforward is always going to help you. Especially, for example, I don't know if many people know this, but there's a test network for Ethereum where you can literally just upload your smart contract to the test network and you can test it out, see exactly if minting works. And for example, there's also a testnet for OpenSea where I think you can even look it up on Google. You can look up OpenSea testnet and you can see a bunch of NFTs out there, which are like not fake NFTs, but they're test NFTs where you can literally just buy and sell them with fake Ethereum, because there's no real money. There's no real money going around the test network and the Ethereum test network. So I mean, there's a bunch of ways for you to test it out. And the best advice I can give you is that just test everything. Make sure all your images are correct, and there's no like any problems with them. And then we use there's a website you can DM me and I'll send you the links as well. But we use IPFS,
sure.
We use Pinata, and Pinata is also used as a storage for the images, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a combination of things you have to use. But any coder that you can hire that has experience with NFTs, they'll probably know.
Indeed. Okay, guys, let's get a little bit of move on. I will add my 2 cents, of course. Indeed, Dynasty's right on point. You do need yourself seasoned Solidity smart contract programmers. And this is, of course, an open source domain. So pretty quickly they can look at other contracts. They can see how other projects were developed. So really a lot of it, obviously, with the art aside, right? You do obviously need an artist to generate something of artistic value and merit. But yeah, after that, a big technical part of it, of course, requires Solidity developers. And I guess the world is your oyster. Now, with that said, big shout out to Dynasty. Thank you so much for going so late. I do know you probably got to get a move on eventually. I'm going to get like maybe at least another question to come through. I'm going to read this one off real quick and then maybe one from someone waiting in the queue to speak. So let's have a look here. This question was from Vernon in the chat. He says, can we see about getting something like the live gallery that Rogue Society has? I just checked it out today. I think it would be something that would really hype and add value. Do you know, Dynasty, about the live gallery that Rogue Society has?
I'm not sure if I'm familiar. I can look it up. Can you send me the link? I'll look it up.
Drop the apron if you're still in there. Drop the link, but I'm guessing it's like a browser-based 3D view.
Let me see.
And I think the answer is yes. Eventually, we will see ideas like this, I think, come to fruition. But I don't think they're immediate priorities for the team.
And you can create your own gallery right now. There are galleries where you can go in, and I have a gallery that has 20 of my favorite Incognitos. So you can do that right now.
Yeah, there you go. Already existing solutions, but yeah, stuff like this indeed is where I see the future of icon display going, including our very own icons, indeed. And this is equally going to apply to maybe Decentraland. You know, I don't know if we have property in Decentraland yet, but if we do, if the icon team eventually does acquire property there, I look forward to building out a like an icon display museum, a little art show in the Decentraland environment, among other things.
So I'm just going to ask one more question from the group. Dynasty, there was a question that a couple people had about rarity, and if they don't have for a lot of people this is their first NFT, if they don't happen to have one that has a rare trait like Iconize or something like that, they're asking if there are rewards for things when people don't have rare traits, and my answer started that there are awards and rewards that are given out daily from you and the team that are not specific to any sort of rarity. There are giveaways that are being provided in lots of different forms. Did you want to answer that?
Dynasty.
For some reason, he went to listener for a second, so I re-invited
gotcha.
him.
Re-invite him. To answer the question, I think absolutely. I mean, right now, obviously, Dave game planned. He mentioned earlier tonight how to reward icon eyes, icon hats, hoodies. I do think that in the future, though, more obscure traits. Like, guys, we're gonna have so many more months and years of enjoying our icons ahead of us. I can't imagine a day where we're not gonna highlight some aspect of the community, like for instance the wood smoking pipes, right? Maybe we'll do a community event where it's like, okay, one person out of all the smoking pipe holders get some kind of cool drop, right? We do a cool promo with, I don't know, maybe a pipe company, pipe tobacco company, something, or just some other giveaway. At least that's how I would encourage the team to do it. Pick some random traits that are maybe not at the top of everyone's list, and give them sprinkle a little something to them in the lottery. And then we could pick traits from the whole catalog and do that over time. So I think in the end, guys, the answer is yes. Even more common traits, some of them, I think we'll still have some opportunity to get swag. But let's see here if I have to accept a few requests to join the stage.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I think you can hear me.
Someone
I had to log in on my other other profile. For some reason, Twitter pretty much cut me off, and then I couldn't join in.
I wondered why we never saw you in the same place at the same time. Now it makes sense.
For sure. What was the question that you were asking, Archer? I mean, in terms of the gallery, yes, we are working on something very similar. We are also working on. We're in touch now. I don't remember. I think it's like Cyber or what's it called? Like where you can create your own gallery. I know Bored Apes and I think Cool Cats has their own like virtual space, and we are working with that team to create our own space as well. There's also someone in our community that contacted us that he creates virtual spaces, and we can create like our own Incognito lounge that people can come in and go in like with their VR headsets or just virtually on your computer. We are working on those things. We want to have those things on our website and available for you guys as soon as possible.
That's a great answer. Thank you. It's more than I was aware of. So the question that I was trying to just tie up for people, because a couple of people asked it, is if they don't have an icon that is as rare as some, like a lot of us, I don't have a gold. I can't get a gold. I can dream of it, but I'll just have to wait a little bit and then hopefully get one day. So if someone has one that doesn't have rare traits yet and they're working on accumulating things, they're asking if there are things for people that don't have ones with rare traits. And my beginning answer when I was trying to get to you was, you all are doing things every day. You're providing different competitions. I like the variety of competitions in terms of there's some with an icon given away, or there's some with the infinite objects being given away, or the metal plates, and those things I just want to stress and then let you answer it. Is there are a lot of things that are being done that have absolutely nothing to do with rarity. It's you're rewarding holders, because that's who, from talking to you, that's what I can tell you're really passionate about.
And one of the reasons is because some people, for example, this was not shared with most people, but this was just shared, if I'm not mistaken, on the Whales channel. And because we have a Whales channel that you have to for you to be in the Whales channel, you have to own at least 20 icons. And this is just a private channel on our server. But for example, we're working on a rewards list for you guys to actually get rewards depending on how many icons you own and how much time you have held onto them, and for you to earn even more rewards by holding onto them. And one of the main thing behind these rewards are literally just for you to have physical forms of your icons, for you to have metal prints, for you to have digital frames, for you to actually be able to display them in the real world. And later on, we are probably gonna have other rewards we're gonna add to the list in terms of digital rewards, maybe something in the metaverse and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, we choose these things as well as like 3D printing because our product, our NFTs, are actually art. That's how I consider them. I literally see our NFTs as artistic digital creations, and not just 3D, and not even 3D, not just 2D images of any type of animal out there, because I think by now there's very few animals that people have not tried to make a NFT collection out of. And so yeah, I mean, that's the reason why we're doing a partnership with a very high quality metal printing studio. I should be getting the metal prints for the Spaceman very soon. I can't wait to get it because we're probably gonna do like a few videos and stuff for you guys to see them. But they look amazing, especially in the high quality resolution images we have. and you can see every single detail as well. And some of you have, and some of you have not. Maybe have not read our white paper, but in our white paper, I did mention quite a few times that my goal with Incognitos is for every single holder in the future to have to hang their Incognitos on their walls, and actually every time you pass next to it, you're gonna say, "Damn, I own this thing," because I hanged it on my wall because I like how it looks. And going back to the inspiration in terms of how Incognitos was created was literally with that vision. I asked if a friend of mine, he got his CryptoPunk hand painted, and it looks very, very cool. But the only reason he's actually putting it up his wall is because a CryptoPunk is now worth $400. His is worth over $500,000. That's the only reason he has it hanging on his wall. But I don't want you guys to do that just because of the value. I want you guys to hang and actually do things with your Incognito because you actually like the artwork, and that's the value, and that's the way we want to go, and how we want to see it, and creating something that's actually cool and visually appealing.
All right. Well, let's proceed to kind of begin winding things down. I do know there's a few people who are prompted here to speak. They are on the stage. Anybody here want to unmute and ask a question?
Quick questions or quick answers? I'll try to be quick.
All right. Well, Crypto, your name's cut off, but there's a Crypto here on the stage. You're welcome to ask a question. Joshua, you're also on the stage. Joshua, if you want to unmute and ask a question, you're more than welcome. If not, guys, we're going to begin to slowly wind things down. All right, here is one question I did want to cover. It was in the live chat. Black Tortoise 84 says, for owners of hidden traits, is there anything planned since we can have an incognito that visually looks the same as another? So how do you feel about some of the hidden traits? Are those just like Easter eggs in the collection, or have your artists thought of ways to kind of address those?
I mean, they weren't really. I mean, we knew that there were gonna be a few attributes, let's say, that were gonna be hidden, especially because of the way we did it. And some of them, when you start seeing, like, when the Incognito starts spinning, you're gonna be able to catch a few of them, let's say, because of the reflections of the lighting and all those kinds of things. And there might be a little that might not be the case for things like the nose piercings and stuff like that. With, for example, I know there's a few hidden attributes in terms of like nose piercing with a surgical mask, with the red bandana, and a few others that simply you can't see the nose piercing, and a couple other attributes. And there's not really anything planned right now. Maybe in the near future we might update this. It depends on what you guys would like to see, especially. Maybe we can update where you can actually see some shadows and some that there should be something on top or underneath, let's say, the mask or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's something we'll look into, and maybe we'll ask what you guys, the community, wants us to do.
Very good, indeed. Something that indeed might involve the input, in fact, from the owners themselves. I mean, you guys are the ones that are holding a few of these. Here's one cool thing about the collection, guys. With Rarity Tools, we know the ins and outs of pretty much every corner of the collection pretty much right away. But one thing we haven't really audited, I'm not sure if we have the exact number, how many missing trait icons are in the collection. This is like a big unknown. I don't know if anybody has, might take some time even to log every single one. But that in itself, if we consider that kind of like a hidden sub-trait, the hidden icon ones themselves, like I said, might be considered some type of like Easter eggs. within it. And I think over time, as the community, as the project matures, maybe that's how the community is going to see them as like oddities that in a sense might be worth even more. Like, I don't know if you guys know about traditional collecting, but like misprints that leave the factory are considered uber rare and usually some of the most desirable, right? So, you know, you have something like Beanie Babies. There's rare Beanie Babies, and then there's misprints of you know, fabrication errors of certain items that in a sense are even rare. Is that what will happen with these hidden trait icons? That is the question, but we'll see one day. But listen, guys, we have gone an hour and a half. It's been a awesome hour and a half. I can't thank you guys enough for kicking it with us for a good 90 minutes. 90 minutes is about as long as I wanted to go. I'm sorry if we couldn't get to every last question, if we couldn't get every last person on here. Twitter Spaces is a little buggy, but over time we will figure it out. We will conquer it. Yeah, if you didn't get your question in today, don't worry about it. I'm going to be live doing this space every day for a good while. If we don't answer your questions tonight, it'll be tomorrow night or the night after. Dynasty, you know, you don't have to be with us every night, guys, but we will have voices. We will have personalities from the community in here most nights. It's not just going to be me talking. You're going to have whales like Osiris and a few others with us to kind of ride along. You got guys like Archer, who thank you very much for co-piloting tonight. And yeah, everybody else who kicked it with us tonight and the entire YouTube audience. But I have to move to wrap things up here. Maybe give Dynasty or anybody here the final words, but going to head to the outro.
I mean, what can I say? If you guys have any other questions or anything in terms of just something you want to ask, you can go ahead onto our Discord server. We'll always be available. Our entire team will always be ready to answer any questions you guys might have, and you can also ask any questions because this is gonna be uploaded on YouTube as well. So any comments on there with any questions, we'll make sure to get on there and answer them as soon as possible. And
for sure,
that's pretty much it.
Yep, I will be monitoring the YouTube comments. I will be logging in for the next day. So any comments you leave today, I will hopefully answer on tomorrow's stream. With that said, finally, don't forget, we are going to give away glass. I'm going to publicize this all over Twitter. I'm going to rep it all over the server. And I'm going to give everybody 24 hours to get their chance at the glass icon giveaway. Thank you, Dynasty. Very gracious of you, not only to join us on tonight's stream, but to give away the glass. This might help my YouTube channel, that's, of course, hosting all of these streams every night, an opportunity to flourish. Thank you so much. That's it, guys. We're going to move to wrap. Much love to you all. We'll catch you in the Discord server. Thank you again to everybody here on this night. Sorry if you didn't make it on, but again, we'll have plenty of call-in opportunities in the next few days, few weeks, few months. Much love, guys.